A major story breaking tonight on I-75 in Cobb County. Doctors treating a Georgia State trooper after he was shot following a chase. Good evening. I'm Justin Farmer.
I'm Javita Moore. We began covering this story as breaking news on Channel 2 Action News at 4. Since then, our team of reporters has fanned out across Cobb County following new leads in this investigation. We are beginning our live Team 2 coverage with Cobb County's Bureau Chief Ross Cavett. Ross is live near the scene on I-75 at Delk Road. Ross?
And Javita, two big things have changed since we reported last hour. First of all, I-75 southbound has been completely closed and will remain so until the GBI finishes its investigation. And secondly, GBI agents have arrived on the scene. In fact, they were arriving as we were reporting last hour and are deep into their investigation right now. It centers around these two black vehicles here. It's my understanding that the suspects in one of the vehicles rear-ended another car as troopers were trying to box them in here just north of Delk Road in the southbound lanes, and that's when the shooting occurred. We've also identified the name of the trooper who is now in the emergency room. He is Jacob Fields, a 3-year veteran of the Georgia State Patrol, said to be in his late 20s from the Jasper area. He is being treated in the emergency room at Kennestone Hospital, the trauma center there, after being shot in the arm and abdomen. Also being treated is the suspect in this case, who was also shot by the trooper. He was rushed to Kennestone Hospital as well. News Chopper 2 was over the scene as the ambulances were rushing those folks to the hospital. The trooper went first with an escort, followed by the suspect just a few minutes later, heading to Kennestone Hospital, where they're both still being treated in the trauma center. This all started with a chase when the driver of the vehicle refused to pull over, coming through the north part of Cobb County. More troopers joined that chase around Canton Road. It all ended again just north of Delk Road. In a news conference a short time ago, the Georgia State Patrol official described what led up to it.
The trooper who initiated the pursuit had been involved approximately 10 miles. Other troopers arrived to assist. They performed what we call a box-in maneuver. They tried to stop the vehicle, and one in front, one to the side, one to the rear. At that point, he struck another civilian vehicle, another uninvolved party in the rear, which disabled his vehicle. At that point, he comes out of the vehicle. He has a weapon. Shots are exchanged.
And at this point, a Georgia State Patrol helicopter is hovering right overhead right now as part of this investigation, helping to map out the scene, flying extremely low over I-75, which again remains closed after the shooting that happened here shortly before 4 o'clock this afternoon. Again, Trooper Jacob Fields is being treated in Kennestone's trauma center right now for 2 gunshot wounds. The suspect also being treated, and the GBI is now investigating. We're live along I-75. Ross Cavett, Channel 2 Action News.
Thank you, Ross. News Chopper 2 was the first news helicopter over the scene this afternoon. We brought you the first live images of this dramatic scene and the resulting traffic backup. Channel 2's Jason Durden continues our live breaking news coverage over the scene on I-75.
And we're looking at the scene right now live. The GBI has made it on the scene. They'll be investigating this shooting. We see that they're setting up their laser measurement devices where they can do that. They'll take those laser measurements and enter that into a computer program, and they can actually rebuild the scene on the computer. So that's what's going on at the scene right now. Traffic-wise, I-75 southbound, all lanes are still diverted onto the South 120 loop. So you can't get any further past the South Loop on 75 southbound. Police are directing traffic on those side streets, and that's helping somewhat. But you can imagine once all that traffic just gets poured onto the side streets, it's an absolute mess. We looked at US 41 Cobb Parkway. It's backed up from Kennesaw all the way down into Marietta. Roads like Franklin Road, Delk Road, Lower Roswell Road, Terrell Mill Road, Powers Ferry Road, all of those carrying extra heavy traffic right now and will be for probably the remainder of the evening. We don't know how much longer these lanes on 75 will be diverted or how much longer this scene will be here, but count on it being a while and make your plans early if you need to get out and about in Marietta this afternoon. We are live over Cobb County and News Chopper 2. Jason Durden, Channel 2 Action News.
Officers shut down I-75 just north of the investigation scene, and officers started diverting traffic from southbound 75 to South Marietta Parkway at the 120 loop south. And we continue our live breaking news coverage now with Channel 2's Richard Elliott. Richard.
Yeah, we were actually on the Marietta Square when we got word of this shooting scene. We hurried here. We were passed by half a dozen police cars, and when we got here, Very, very hectic scene. Police cars, GSP troopers going in all different directions. I want to show you video taken of some of the traffic backup on I-75 when all of this was going on. Remember that they have shut down I-75 between the South 120 loop and Delk Road. They're actually diverting traffic now onto the South 120 loop because basically they are now considering this entire stretch of 75 between Delk Road, just north of Delk Road, and the South 120 loop as one very large crime scene so that they can begin investigating. As you heard Ross say, the GBI is here. We saw the GBI Mobile Crime Lab here as well. So again, they're considering all of this a crime scene, and until they secure it, this road is going to stay closed. We are live in Cobb County. Richard Elliott, Channel 2 Action News.
And now this hour, we've got a woman on I-75 South. She was able to describe what was happening when the shooting started, and we talked with that woman by phone.
And all of a sudden, I see this black SUV in this black car, and they block them in against the concrete wall. And then I'm watching in my mirror, the officer jumps out, and then it sounded like fireworks. There was had to have been 15 shots. It was like pow, 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 pow. Everyone's slamming on their brakes. And then I look, and the officer is looking down, limping, running back towards his car. And I was on the phone with this guy from work. I'm like, oh my God, he got shot. It was crazy.
We were listening to a witness there. Now, the injured trooper was rushed to Kennestone Hospital. Channel 2's Matt Belanger continues our live Team 2 coverage. He's at the hospital where the trooper is being treated. Matt?
And we have new information we received in about the past 20 minutes.
I have no...
Dealing with the condition of this trooper. Captain Mark Perry with Georgia State Patrol said Trooper Jacob Fields has been working with GSP for 3 years, stationed at Post 9 in Marietta. He's conscious and alert, being cared for by doctors here at Kennestone Hospital right now. They say he was shot twice, once in the lower leg and also in the stomach just below the bulletproof vest he was wearing. The suspect, who was also shot multiple times, was in surgery at last check, also here at Kennestone Hospital. The captain talked about what it's like to receive this kind of news, that a trooper was shot in the line of duty, and he talked about how you always fear for the worst. And he mentioned here today about how after being able to get here to the hospital to talk to the trooper and to see that he's going to survive this situation, what a huge sense of relief that is. But both Trooper Jacob Fields and the suspect in this case being treated by doctors here at Kennestone Hospital. That's the story live at the hospital in Marietta. Matt Belanger, Channel 2 Action News.
All right.